Have you ever wondered how some deceptions, really intricate ones, are actually pulled off layer by layer, sometimes right under our noses? Today, we're diving into a case that it starts looking like a straightforward domestic thing, but quickly, really quickly, unravels. It becomes this chilling web of identity theft, manipulation, elder abuse. It's kind of a masterclass in how a predator can operate in plain sight. We're pulling back the curtain on Sue Grafton's T is for Trespass, a Kinsey Millhone mystery. And the source material, it gives us this unprecedented look at how vulnerability gets exploited, how legal systems can be twisted, and, well, how a sharp mind fights to uncover a truth that's almost too dark to believe.
Yeah, our mission today is really to dissect the anatomy of a scam. We're not just, retelling the plot. We want to explore the psychological strategies, this calculating con artist, and then the relentless dedication of the private investigator. We'll look at the specific tactics used to prey on vulnerable people, the legal mechanisms she twists for personal gain, and the surprising turns this whole pursuit of justice takes. What really stands out, I think, is the detailed blueprint, how a seemingly harmless situation can hide just profound danger, and maybe the warning signs we might miss.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's see what we can learn here. So our central figure, she's initially known as Solana Rojas, and the prologue, it sets this really unsettling tone. We learn she's a chameleon, someone who operated as a creature apart without empathy. It's chilling, isn't it? To think she spent years perfecting this disguise as a loser, blending in, observing, caring for nothing. I mean, what kind of person deliberately cultivates that kind of void?
That's exactly it. This isn't just like telling lies. It's more fundamental. It's an absence of emotional connection that allows for this calculated, almost surgical manipulation. She even says she prefers to focus on separating the wicked from that which profits them. But, from her cold perspective, the vulnerable are the profit. Her whole life is a performance designed purely to exploit.
And this talent for camouflage, it was put to the test in this really audacious way. She decides to lift the other's identity. The other being a real Hispanic LVN named Solana Rojas she worked with at a convalescent home. So she slowly, meticulously darkens her hair to match. But the final step, get this, is literally stealing the real Solana's driver's license from its hiding spot under a Dr. Scholl's pad in her shoe.
Wow.
Right. Then using her own address, she applies for a new license as Solana Rojas, claiming her husband died and she'd only just learned to drive.
That detail, the hidden license, it really shows her meticulous approach, doesn't it? It highlights how identity theft isn't just grabbing a name. It's this careful, almost surgical appropriation of another person's entire life. And the real Solana Rojas, as Kinsey finds out later from photos, was actually older and heavier than the imposter, which just speaks volumes about the imposter's confidence, the sheer audacity and detail in her deception. She wasn't just faking it, she was embodying it, fully expecting to get away with it all.
So with this new identity solid, our chameleon sets her sights on a new target. She answers ads for live-in caregivers. And who does she pick? Gus Vronsky, an 89-year-old neighborhood crank who'd recently dislocated his shoulder. Why Gus? What made him the perfect target?
That's the critical question, isn't it, for understanding this kind of predation? The narrative lays it out pretty clearly. Gus was old, recovering from an injury, and crucially had no immediate family in town. That created this isolation, this dependency that was just ripe for exploitation. And then Kinsey's investigation later revealed he had substantial liquid assets. We're talking thousands in checking and tens of thousands in various savings accounts, almost 2,000, 15,000, 22,000.
Wow.
Yeah. So this combination, extreme vulnerability plus significant financial resources, it's a textbook profile for a con artist like her.
And it wasn't just about the money, though. There was a personal motivation, too, it seems. Her son, Kinsey, his real name was Tommaso. From birth, he's described as having these severe developmental challenges, feeble in mewing cries, listless with poor reflexes and very little muscle control. A pediatrician even suggested institutional care. But she refused, said he was the light and joy of her life. They'd shared a humble apartment for close to 10 years.
Yeah, this relationship with Tiny is one of the most disturbing parts, I think. She frames it as, a maternal devotion. But it feels much more like a dependency rooted in his incapacities. And he becomes a tool in her schemes. Later on, he's used as an orderly, basically for physical intimidation. The whole dynamic just highlights how her lack of empathy extends even to her own child. He's viewed more as a resource, really, in her criminal enterprise than, an individual to be nurtured. It's a calculated, self-serving bond.
Okay, so then Kinsey Millhone enters the picture, our private investigator, living right next door to Gus. She's independent, observant, and she's kind of difficult, prefers bonding with people always out of town over, constant companionship. Her initial discomfort with Solana, it wasn't even like a concrete red flag at first, just some gut feeling, which got reinforced by her realtor friend Charlotte. Charlotte found Solana very single-minded, always talking sell, calculating property values.
And this initial unease, before any real evidence surfaces, that's a vital insight. It's Kinsey's intuition, finely tuned, that subtle recognition that something is just off beneath the polite surface. It really speaks to the importance of trusting those gut feelings, right? Those little inconsistencies that don't quite add up, even if they seem vague initially. It's often the first line of defense.
Kinsey's suspicions really start to solidify with these small but telling incidents. First, Gus's great niece Melanie calls. She's worried Gus sounds confused, and Solana jumps right in, suggesting early signs of dementia.
Quick work.
Very quick. Then Kinsey finds an unopened bill in Gus's trash that Solana had just emptied, which strongly suggests, deliberate neglect of his finances.
Right. And here's where the dots start connecting. For Kinsey and for us reading it, Solana's immediate jump to dementia for Gus's confusion. That's a classic manipulation tactic. It plants doubt about the victim's competence. It basically gaslights the family members, preempts questions about financial control. And that discarded bill, even though it's small, it's a direct, undeniable red flag. Financial interference. It shows intent.
The tension really ramps up for Kinsey when she decides to snoop a bit in Gus's house. Ostensibly, she's just bringing him soup, but she discovers this massive shape in one of the back bedrooms.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's Tiny, who's supposed to be somewhere else entirely. He's described as a gorilla. Large, intimidating. Suddenly, this isn't just a caregiver situation anymore. It feels like a covert operation.
Absolutely. That discovery of Tiny hidden away like that, it just shatters Solana's whole presented image. It signals a much deeper, far more sinister operation is underway. It makes you realize, suddenly, the true level of danger Kinsey is now in. And by extension, Gus, too. It shifts from subtle manipulation to, well, outright menace. It reveals the physical threat that's underpinning the whole deception.
And then comes the ultimate betrayal. Kinsey learns that Solana Rojas has filed a petition for temporary conservatorship over Gus, appointing herself, but using her real name now, Cristina Tasanato.
Ah, the real name surfaces.
Exactly. And her brother, Dennis Altanova, is the attorney handling it. This was granted after an emergency hearing, because Solana, or Cristina, falsely claimed that the niece, Melanie, couldn't spare the time to help Gus.
Okay, this is a really stark illustration of how vulnerability can be weaponized through the legal system. Conservatorship grants immense power, right? It lets the conservator control someone's finances, their personal well-being, everything. And that emergency hearing, it bypasses the usual due process. Things like proper notice to the family and independent evaluation of the person, letting family object. It creates this immediate, devastating loss of autonomy for Gus. It's just shocking how legal systems, which are meant to protect, can be exploited by people who know how to work the angles.
And Cristina Tasanato, she wasted absolutely no time. She submitted invoices to the court, over $8,700 for Gus's home care through her company, Senior Healthcare Management, Inc., which of course included paying her son Tiny as an orderly for basically sleeping all day.
Unbelievable.
She also invoiced over $6,200 for her attorney brother's services. And on top of that, she started liquidating Gus's assets. Sold his antique furniture for over $12,000, secured a $250,000 loan against his property. It was a valuable double lot zoned for multiple families. She even tried to sell his valuable paintings, John Gamble and William Wendt, just dismissing them as landscapes and poppies.
These financial details, they paint such a chilling picture. Systematic exploitation. The invoices are just thinly veiled payments to herself and her son. The property loan, the rapid sale of artwork, it shows this calculated, aggressive plundering of Gus's entire estate. It really underscores how critical thinking about who truly benefits financially is absolutely essential in cases of suspected elder abuse. You have to scrutinize every transaction for self-serving interest.
Kinsey's concern for Gus becomes desperate at this point. She calls the Tri-Counties Agency for the Prevention of Elder Abuse. She even snitches Gus's bank books herself to get evidence, knowing it was illegal, but feeling Gus's safety just had to take precedence.
Right.
Later, a hospital visit for Gus confirms the dire abuse. He's found malnourished and dehydrated. He has a bladder infection, heart issues, and get this, a hairline fracture in the radius of his right arm. that looked like it had been there a while.
Oh, no.
Solana, or Christina, had been giving him powdered sleep aid medication and threatening him with Tiny.
The physical and emotional toll on Gus is just heartbreaking. It's a clear result of systematic neglect and cruelty, and Solana's use of kindness as a tool initially to break him down, then coupled with sedation and threats involving Tiny, it shows its complete moral depravity.
Kinsey's actions, yeah, legally questionable, but they highlight that critical dilemma, don't they? When the official legal routes are slow and a vulnerable person is in immediate profound danger, what is the right thing to do is a tough spot. Now, while all this is escalating with Gus, Kinsey's also working on a totally separate personal injury suit. It involves a college student, Lisa Ray, who was in a car accident with a handicapped man, Millard Fredrickson, and his wife, Gladys. Lisa claims the Fredricksons indicated a turn, then just accelerated and hit her. But the police report, it cited Lisa for fault.
Okay, so this seemingly unrelated case, it actually provides this fascinating thematic parallel, doesn't it? It highlights the pervasive nature of deceit for financial gain, just in a different context. An accident reconstructionist concluded that Gladys Fredrickson's injuries were inconsistent with the dynamics of the collision, implying they were pre-existing,
Right.
which immediately raises the alarming possibility that the Fredricksons deliberately staged the accident for insurance money, especially since Millard had previously gotten a huge settlement, $680,000 for his own accident.
Right.
It really speaks to Kinsey's ability to see patterns, patterns of fraud across different kinds of cases.
In Kinsey's interviews with neighbors, Julian Frisch and Letty Bowers, they quickly exposed the truth about Gladys. Frisch revealed Gladys still handles my accounts and had a courier service delivering packages 2 and 3 times a week, which totally contradicts her claim of being unable to work.
Mm-hmm.
And Bowers actually saw Gladys up on a ladder cleaning rain gutters right around the time of the accident. Always those little details, isn't it, that break the illusion?
Exactly. Those details, gathered through diligent, kind of old-fashioned investigative work, they reveal this calculated insurance scam. It just emphasizes that getting multiple perspectives, doing thorough digging, is crucial. It's a stark reminder that what looks like a straightforward accident can hide layers of premeditated fraud. You need a keen eye for inconsistencies and the patience to look for them. It shows us deception, whether it's stealing an identity or staging an accident, often leaves this trail of subtle contradictory evidence.
In this same investigation, Kinsey also tracks down a missing witness, a guy named Melvin Downs. He initially helped Lisa at the scene. Downs is described as having thick white hair, a brown leather jacket, often seen at a bus stop. And he has this really distinct feature, a lipstick red mouth tattoo on his hand, spelling out Tia, which he uses as a ventriloquist puppet.
Oh, interesting detail.
Yeah, and Tia reveals that Melvin was actually imprisoned for 12 years for this and that, and his own daughter won't let him see his grandsons because she suspects him of child molest.
Wow. Okay, so this side character adds another layer of human complexity, and it raises this important question about societal judgment, about rehabilitation. It forces you to consider how past actions can haunt people, impact their families, even after they've served their time. It's kind of a nuanced look at the broader implications of crime and personal history woven into the main plot.
So as Kinsey closes in on Christina Tassinado, the fake Solana, her tactics become much more personal and menacing. She sends Kinsey a restraining order, calls the police, falsely accusing Kinsey of scratching her car. She's trying to damage Kinsey's credibility, right? Make her look vengeful.
Mm-hmm. Trying to discredit the investigator.
And then there's the truly disturbing touch. She leaves a live tarantula in Kinsey's office as a psychological attack.
Yikes. That escalation is so characteristic of a cornered predator, isn't it? The shift from subtle manipulation to outright intimidation. It's a desperate attempt to deflect suspicion, to isolate Kinsey. Solana, or Christina, aims to make Kinsey appear erratic, untrustworthy. It's a classic move to neutralize an opponent. And the tarantula, it's not just a threat, it's a chilling metaphor, really, for the unseen, venomous dangers Kinsey's facing. It highlights the psychological warfare that's going on.
Her ultimate play, though, involves Henry, Kinsey's landlord, Gus's friend. She lures him to the newly renovated Paramount Hotel, and there she dates him.
Oh no, not Henry.
Yeah. Kinsey senses something is deeply wrong, arrives, and finds Henry unconscious. There's an IV line in his arm, a loaded syringe nearby.
That move is just It's a calculated attack on Kinsey's entire support system. It really showcases Christina's strategic thinking and her willingness to harm absolutely anyone who gets in her way. It underscores the profound danger involved in confronting someone like this. No one around the target is safe. It just illustrates the depths of her ruthlessness, extending that predatory reach way beyond just Gus.
In this deep dive, it culminates in this violent, really tragic confrontation. Kinsey's attempt to help Henry leads to tiny Christina's son attacking Kinsey in her car. In a desperate act of self-defense, Kinsey slams on the brakes, and this causes Tiny's arm to be severed, tragically leading to his death.
Yeah, that violent climax. It highlights the very real, very dangerous consequences of engaging with these deeply disturbed individuals. Kinsey, even as a trained professional, is pushed to her absolute limits. And the result is this incredibly traumatic experience. The narrative does a powerful job portraying the psychological aftermath. Kinsey experiences PTSD symptoms, describes this low-level dread, a desperate need for closure. It reminds you that even when justice is served, the cost can be immense and profoundly personal. It leaves scars that run deep.
So from identity theft and conservatorship fraud to staged accidents and these tragic confrontations, this deep dive has really pulled back the curtain on the many faces of deception and the profound vulnerabilities that can be exploited. We've seen how one individual, totally devoid of empathy, can meticulously dismantle another person's life, and how another person, driven by this fierce sense of justice, can unravel that intricate web piece by painful piece.
I think the core lesson here is just how subtle, how insidious predation can be. It often doesn't show up as outright violence, not initially anyway. It's quiet manipulation, legal maneuvering, a gradual erosion of trust, of autonomy, critical thinking, looking beyond the surface. It becomes not just useful, but absolutely essential, particularly when you're dealing with people in positions of trust over vulnerable individuals.
Yeah, and despite the dark elements of human nature we've explored here, the story also highlights resilience, that unwavering commitment to do good. It reminds us of that sentiment from the prologue, doesn't it? That even amidst all the thievery, assault, rape, murder, and other treacheries, there are still those who hold to the good, who work wherever possible to separate the wicked from that which profits them.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Maybe consider the layers of trust in your own life, in your community. How vigilant are you, really, in safeguarding the well-being of the elderly, or maybe others who can't fully advocate for themselves? How do you discern genuine care from, self-serving interest? And what might you do if you ever suspected a chameleon was at play? What small, seemingly insignificant detail might you notice that can maybe reveal a larger, much more sinister plot? Makes you think, doesn't it?